Welcome to the Soul Infused Monday show. I'm super excited that you're here. And take a moment, regardless if you're watching this live right now or if you're watching the replay, take a moment to leave a comment, say hello, say where you're watching from, and click the like or love button. So I know you're here. And also take a moment to remove any distractions so that you can be fully present. And within the next 20 minutes, I'm going to share with you 5 tips to release self-doubt and to be your most authentic self. So for the next 20 minutes, you want to be fully present. So remove any distractions, close any other windows on your computer, mute your phone, close the door, take a nice deep breath, and give yourself permission to get the most out of it. So who's in here? And Emily's here, Alyssa is here, Darlene is here. Fantastic, fantastic. So I'm going to jump right in. And I remember last week I was talking to a woman. She's joining my self-love bootcamp, and she was sharing with me, said she was really struggling from the not good enough syndrome. She was sharing with me, she wants to create a business as a Reiki teacher, and she was sharing with me, I have a feeling like I'm not doing enough. I'm not earning enough. I'm not far along enough on my journey. I'm not good enough. I'm not good in connecting with people. So on and so on and so on and so on. Like maybe can you relate to that? Not enough, not being enough, not doing enough, not being enough or far along on the journey. And so she was asking me, Sonia, do you have some advice to help me to shift my mindset? And I felt her, she was really under pressure and really judging it. And she was judging herself for judging herself. You know what I mean? So what I said to her, and one of the things that I'm gonna, use it, one of the tips is, hey, Olivia, hi, Heather. Emily, fantastic. Yeah, leave the comments coming. If you're watching this live or on the replay, leave a comment below and I'm diving right in. So one of the things that I said to her while I was talking with her, that, okay, first off, to take the pressure off and accept what is. And what I mean by that is like, for a moment, don't fight it. Don't judge how you feel. Don't try to do or be something else that you are, and take a moment to accept what is. And in that moment for her, that was that she felt that she was not doing enough and she was putting herself under pressure, and she was feeling that no matter what she was doing, it was never enough, and that she was already even feeling guilty if she was taking a break or if she just wanted to take a nap. And that constant pressure and self-judgment got her into a loop where she actually didn't get much done. Can you relate to that? I mean, I definitely can. I used to feel that way many times. And so my number 1 tip for today is to accept what is. Meaning, before you even try to change it, before you find the right solution or the mindset or whatever things to change it, is first allow yourself to feel how you feel, accept that you feel this way, take the pressure off, be with it, embrace it, hold space for it, look at it. Because what we resist, and you've heard this before, I'm sure, is like when we don't want to look at it and we just want to get rid of it, it takes a lot of energy, first of all, to do it, and it just keeps it growing even more. Once you've done that, then you can do the deeper work to see, okay, what's the underlying reason that I'm doing this? And then you can dig deeper and then you can shift the energy. But first off, accept what is and be with what is, hold the space. So that's my number 1 tip that I just wanted to get started right away. And before I move on to tip number 2, I also want to give perspective. To release the self-doubt, to live your most authentic self. That will not happen overnight. That leads to really do some deeper inner work and to make a decision and a commitment. you want to make this a priority in your life. If it's not a priority in your life, if it doesn't have commitment, if you're not on it, it's not going to really shift. So even though I don't include that into my 5 tips today, the most important thing you got to do is to make a decision that you want to live your most authentic self, and you do the work and whatever is needed, whatever it takes, so that you peel off those layers and you do the deeper inner work and you connect with your soul and with who you really are to live a really authentic life. Does that make sense, guys? Okay. Petra's here. Hi. And if you have any questions, please leave them below. You all know I always take a few minutes in the end. And if you're new to this show, by the way, I know that there are often people new to the show, and I sometimes forget to even introduce myself. My name is Sonia Bueno de la Torre, and I'm here to help you to love and to know your authentic self so that you can create a life you truly want. So let's move on to tip number 2. When you doubt yourself a lot, you usually judge yourself a lot as well. And that comes with the first piece that I said about, oh, I'm not good enough and I'm not good enough. So tip number 2 for really releasing self-doubt and living your most authentic life and most authentic self is you gotta stop judging yourself. And I know that sounds easier than it sounds. However, and it is actually not that easy, and that won't happen overnight, but super crucial. You gotta stop judging yourself. And in a way, how you do that is to learn how to detach from your inner critic. The inner critical voice that it keeps telling you over and over all the things that you are not doing right. And it can look in very different ways. And I dive way deeper into this topic in the self-love bootcamp that it's coming up. But I wanted to address it here as well, because that inner constant negative chatter that you have with yourself, you got to learn how to shift that, how to detach from it, so that the voice might still be there, but you are not identified with it anymore. In my example, you know, what in the past, I was judging myself mercilessly about everything, about what I'm doing, or what I was looking. I was fat, ugly, stupid, not good enough, comparing myself all the time. And it wasn't until I really learned to dig deeper and understand why that voice is there to begin with, and how do I attach from it, that started for me to open up to a way of loving myself and talking to myself in a different way. So that's tip number 2. You definitely want to do that. And tip number 3, I need a sip of water. While I'm doing that, click the love and like button if this is valuable, if this makes sense, if I'm landing here. That's the way how you communicate with me, is by clicking and leaving comments below, because I want to know you're there, because I am super, super passionate to helping you love yourself and to live your most authentic and most incredible life. Okay, let's go. Hi, Kathy. I'm so excited you're here. Fantastic. And tip number 3, and that's especially for women. Like, I mean, all the tips are for men and for women, and I know in my community I attract more women than men, but I do know I have men also watching the show. And tip number 3 is especially for women. You gotta ask for what you want, and you gotta express your needs. Let me give you an example. And it's like, and I had to learn this myself. Because we women are very intuitive, because from an evolutionary perspective, we are meant to be, because we give birth to children, they are non-verbal, they can't speak yet, so we are very good and determine what other people need, and we often actually give too much and we don't ask for much. So, but because we are good at it, and we have a sense of doing it naturally, we expect others to do the same, or we assume that others would know that too. That is only one piece of it. That's way, way more, but just to give you an example. So what happens then, we don't ask clearly for what we want, but we expect it. And if we don't get it, we are resentful, we are upset, and then we don't communicate clearly. And let's be honest here, any of you. Have you ever experienced that? Did you ever want something, you didn't really ask clearly for it, you didn't get it, and then you were upset? Let's be really honest. Like, I've done it many times in my life. Who did this here? Who can relate to this? Hi, Noma. Who knows and is willing to commit that's something that we tend to do so easily? So you got to ask for what you want very clearly. Don't assume, don't expect it. No one is a mind reader, especially in a relationship. Often we assume that our husband, spouse, boyfriend, whoever that is, just knows. No, they don't know. They're not mind readers. You gotta speak up for yourself. And remember, you are the creator of your life. So you want to take full responsibility. You want to take charge of your life. And one way to do that is to really ask for what you want. And that's also being authentic. That's being, empowered. So who's willing to ask more clearly for what you want? And even, again, let's practice. We are so used not to do that. We kind of talk around the bush, or we ask someone, oh, what is it that you want? Or I give you a super simple example that maybe you can relate to. I love flowers. So one of the things that I always appreciate is that in the past, if in my relationship, my partner would bring me flowers. But I didn't want to ask for it because I thought he should know that. So he's supposed to give me flowers, right? And it's not that he didn't do it because he didn't care about me, or that he did many other things, but he literally just didn't know it. So as I was growing and I was being more open and sharing what I need, it was as simple as something like, listen, honey, I love flowers. So I would super appreciate it. It would actually mean to me if you once in a while, you just give me something, you bring me flowers. But without pressuring, without judgment, without blaming him. So then when he brought me the flowers, I loved it. Because often we say, oh yeah, but if I have to ask for it, it's not the same. No, it's just us staying in a very disempowered state of being. I could talk about this so much more and dig deeper into that. But for today, that's tip number 3, ask for what you want. Okay. And Jolene is saying, yes, I can relate to not being clear with what I want and then getting upset when it doesn't happen. I'm getting better. Yeah, you're getting so much better. And thank you for actually being courageous enough for sharing that, because to be real, I don't know one woman, or for that matter, men have done it, but it's a very typical thing we women do, that has not done it or still doing it. So we are all in the same boat. There's no shame in it. It's about you being aware and changing it, so that you are more empowered and you live a more authentic way of being, versus being a victim and being upset and not being able to communicate that. Okay, thank you for sharing that. So tip number 4, is it tip number 4? Yes, and if you have a specific question, leave it in the comments below. Keep it short and to the point, because that's how I can support you the best way. This is the few minutes where you can get actually free, individualized coaching from me. So tip number 4 is do something every day, not once in a while, not every second day, or not 3 times a week, like every day, as committed as you would brush your teeth every day. Do something every day to uplift your energy, to take care of yourself, and to nurture, have a practice, a routine. It can be meditation, it can be exercise, it can be, of course, from the perspective that I'm talking, to really live your most authentic self, to love yourself. You want to reconnect to who you are. So it's really about taking quality time for yourself, where you are in connection with you. Through meditation, through breathing, through whatever that looks like for you. But do it every day. And don't question it. It's like, if it's right or wrong, better done than perfect. It's not about it being perfect, it's about it being done. I have a client, and he just he's starting to meditate and he has a little bit of a hard time. So I guide him through, and he meditated for 6 or 7 days straight. And I was so proud of him, and he felt great. And was like, well, Sonia, can you give me more tips on the right technique and how to do this better, or should I do this and that? And the one thing I said to him is, don't worry about it being the right way, it being perfect. Just do it and keep doing it, because that's more important. Because often we put so much pressure on us and we have this idea it has to be a certain way. No, just keep doing it every day. Every day. Did I say that already? Every day? Okay, moving on. Was number 3 ask for what you want, Emily. I will repeat all the 5 real quick at the end as well. Do everything, do every day something to uplift your energy, to connect to yourself, to take care of yourself, to love yourself. Because if you're not connected with yourself, you can't even be authentic. If you're not connected with what you are actually struggling with, you can't release self-doubt. So you want to do something every day. You want to do something every day. I know I keep repeating myself like a broken record, but I tell you, that's one of the biggest struggles I see. It's not that you need more information and more tools and more. It's about doing the things. It's about transformation and not so much about information. Does that make sense, guys? Hit the love button if it does. Yes, I get some loves here. Okay. And sip of water. Tip number 5 is join my self-love bootcamp. I know I had to laugh about this, and it's like, what? Yes, but listen, guys, you got to do some work if you feel you are still in self-doubt, if you feel like you're not where you want to be. And some of you have asked me, that's why I'm just taking a moment to share. I'm not going to talk much about it, but the Self-Love Bootcamp is an 8-week course where I help you dive deeper into some of the topics that I spoke, and to help you create neural pathways for new high vibrational habits as well. And it's an 8 weeks where you put yourself first, where you take this summer, we're starting in June 11th, where you take this summer where it's about you. It's about you loving yourself. It's about you releasing the stuff that's no longer serving you. It's about you being empowered to live your most authentic self in an intimate group, a powerful community and support, that you get to create something within 8 weeks that you would never do by yourself. So that's tip number 5 today. If you want to know more about my Self-Love Bootcamp, and you might have heard me speak about this before, just leave the comment bootcamp, leave the word, leave bootcamp right now, and I'll get back to you and give you some more information. But this way I know you're actually interested. And if you're even only tiny a little bit curious, leave bootcamp here as a comment, and I will share more with you. But that's tip number 5. Do something. Get to do the work. Commit. Decide. You might be afraid. You might have questions. You might doubt if that's the right fit or not. There are no strings attached. I want to find out if this is a great fit for you. So leave the word bootcamp, and I will definitely reach out to you, and we can discover together if this is a great fit for you. Does that sound good? Okay, so let's repeat the 5 tips real quick. Number 1, accept what is. Be with what is. Hold the space. Tip number 2, stop judging yourself by learning how to detach from that inner critical voice, so that you have more space and freedom to listen to the truth, who you authentically are, versus being identified with this negative judgment. Tip number 3, especially important for women, ask clearly for what you want. Tip number 4, do something every day that will uplift you, that will shift your energy into a higher vibration. And tip number 5, join my Self-Love Bootcamp that is coming up in June. and leave the word self-love bootcamp or only bootcamp. Let's keep it easy. Bootcamp in the comment section so I know you're interested and I will reach out to you. And there are no strings attached, no pressure. We'll just find out if it's a good fit for you or not. But I always love to connect with you anyway. And be assured that even if you don't join the bootcamp, I will give you something, a tip, a next step, something valuable for you to continue this journey in the summer without joining the Self-Love Bootcamp. And if you feel like, yes, I want to join, leave the bootcamp, just do it anyway. Just do it. Okay, I'm gonna go through real quick if you have any specific questions, and if not, I'm gonna release you and wish you a fantastic week. Okay, hi Gwen, hi Carrie, all right here. Okay, I don't see any questions. If you have a specific question about how to release self-doubt, be your most authentic self, or any specific questions about the tips that I gave you, or any specific questions about the bootcamp, the self-love bootcamp that's coming up in June, leave a comment below. I'm going to be here 1 more minute. And if you are interested, or if you have a friend, maybe you have a friend who really could need some more self-love, who would resonate with this type of work, and you're interested in maybe even doing this together, the bootcamp, that's super, super powerful. In a community with a friend, that's super powerful. Share that with her. Share this Facebook Live with her, share the tips with her, and practice together. Accountability and support is so, so important. Okay. Hi, Raja. Good. That's it for today. Thank you for being here today with me. Have a fantastic, wonderful rest of your Monday. Have a soul-infused, uplifting week. And tune in for a second before you go. Before you scroll, before you go, tune in for a moment. What was the most valuable thing you're getting out of this show today? What is the most valuable, your number one takeaway? And leave a comment now when it's finished, leave a comment below and share with me what is the most valuable, what are you hearing me say, what is your biggest takeaway? And then I will see you next Monday again for a new episode of Soul Infused Monday. Much love.